I am so glad I'm out here and I'm doing what I'm doing. This is the vision I've had for years, and digital photography is making it much more possible to do what I actually envision, which is detailed documentation of the current state of this ecosystem. I'm going to go upriver today and I'm looking for my next camp. I'm not sure if I'm going to base camp or if I'm going to John Muir this. Whenever I say John Muir from now on, I'm just going to call it Muir camping. It means I go with the minimum amount of gear and I use a poncho as a ground tarp and I just sleep in my sleeping bag, and I'm just carrying the equipment I need to properly do my passionate work of wilderness immersion photography. This will be the base camp as far as the grocery store and place I return to from the long journeys upriver and into the high country. The black bear encounter I had over here was not, it was good in a sense. I encountered a bear, but it was neither photographically nor safety-wise a very good. The bear was in a tree. It was an adult. It was not happy. And it was, from a photography point of view, I was pointing up at a black bear with the sky behind it, so it was a backlit situation, so the photography isn't very good. And then this bear either had a cub up the tree or it was trying to catch a cub. I'm not sure if there was a second bear on the ground, because I saw an adult bear on the ground. Then I saw a second bear up in a tree. I never saw the two adults simultaneously, so I'm not sure if the one I saw on the ground went up the tree, or if there was one up the tree and one on the ground that was harassing the one in the tree. And then I'm pretty sure I saw a cub even higher up. It was a spruce tree. What I do know is the one on the ground either disappeared or went up the tree, and then when I tried to get in a position to take the photograph, the adult bear in the tree made a couple of loud grunts and made a couple of moves like it was coming down the tree. And at that point, I didn't run, but I made a hasty retreat. I even said out loud, "I'm out of here," and made a hasty retreat. I walked fast. I kept a look over my shoulder. I didn't pull it, but I had my hand on my bear mace. And I got through a little willows and out into an open grass area. And then I could hear the bear was still up in the tree grunting and making noises. So I realized the bear hadn't come down the tree. And then I just circled off around him and went on with my day. But that was not a good bear encounter. That's not the kind of bear encounters I want to have. It's also just another reason why in the future, as the finances come in, a 100, 400 millimeter lens makes the wildlife aspect of this project so much more superior than it is now. This is my view when I open my eyes, and I haven't even moved yet. I think it's kind of cool. The weather's obviously changed. It's clear skies and there's sun in the trees. I'm looking back to starting in March 7th in the Bogashill to now June 4th in the Queets. And I have not really been challenged by rain and weather. I've had some rain over this period of time, of course, but it's like right now. It's early morning, it's absolutely clear, crystal clear skies, and we barely even have dew on the ground. I'm comfortably sleeping without a tent, and I have no concerns for the next 2 to 3, 4 days that I'm going to get any kind of serious precipitation. The hanging mosses of the Olympics are drying out and dying. This is ubiquitous. I found it all over the Bogoshill as well. Every tree in this grove that I'm looking at is coated or clothed in dead and dying moss. This used to be beautiful green curtains of living chlorophyll. And now it hangs dying in the trees. This is vine blackberry, where all of the berries have withered and dried out before they came to fruit. And there's a couple of mushroom species that grow off the downfalls, off the dead logs and stuff, that are dead. They're dried out and they're dead because the moisture content in the logs is so decreased that it can't support the mushrooms anymore. So there's that and the mosses. The river's not running at the level it should be. It's like 58% below normal for this time of year. But I mean, when you just casually look around, you're like, really? It's big, it's green. You're getting all these cool pictures of wildlife. There's lots of birds, but there are subtle differences. I'm standing in the bed of what I'm starting to call a ghost stream. There's dry stream beds like this up and down the trail. I'll probably start keeping a tally. Again, this is mid-spring in the temperate rainforest. This should be a very active, beautiful flowing stream bed right now. Not a dry rock bed. There's a slight odor of fish in the air. When I first crossed this, I noticed it. And what I really think the origin of this odor is as this dried out, the minnows that were living in here, the small fish, there may have been some brook trout as well, who knows exactly. But as the small minnows and other aquatic life were caught, I just got a whiff of it in the air right now. As they got caught in here, they died, and then I started looking around for where's some remains, where's some evidence of this. But then I started noticing a significant amount of bird droppings. Here, 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 all over, up and down. There's a lot of bird droppings on the rocks. So I am drawing the conclusion that as this creek dried out, scavenger type birds, crows, jays, maybe an eagle or two, but this was easy pickings. Just like any of the other animals out here. I'm basically going to walk into the forest, up this indentation trail. This is a game trail where enough wildlife is coming in and out of this spot that they've cut themselves a clear and obvious path into the flats in the meadow above. So I'm going to place the trail cam in a tree right off to the side here, set it up, let's see what happens. What I have here is fresh elk beds. They don't make much of an impression in the ground, but this is an elk slept here, an elk slept right here, an elk slept over here, and an elk slept here for sure. He's swimming it. He's swimming. I don't know if I got this on video or not, but I just saw a Douglas squirrel swim the river. I don't know if you can see this or not, but our little hero made it. He swam the river. There's a lot of humans that wouldn't do this. I don't know, it's a little bit sad when you're in a rainforest. And a little bit of rain is something that's exciting and needs to be videoed. This is the first rain of any type in almost 3 weeks. Finally got some rain. Started late yesterday afternoon, evening, and rained pretty steady and hard all night and through early morning. And it's still raining. It's not raining hard now. I'm just so glad to see some rain out here. Get this thing wet. Needs it. It's the biggest thing I've noticed so far is just the forest is dry. Like, I know it's because I'm trying to shoot wildlife. Like, the leaves and the dumas and the trail is dry, so you crackle and you crunch leaves and stuff. Generally speaking, this stuff should be moist enough where you're practically silent when you're walking through here. But I'm just glad to see the rain. All right, I'm basically cutting at an angle across the current. I'm crossing in the same spot where I watched the Roosevelt elk and videoed the Roosevelt elk several days ago. They crossed right at the same spot. That is one of my rules out here. If I am off trail, I try to do what elk do. This is not any kind of official ford, and nothing is guaranteed here. If I get out there and decide it is not doable, I will be turning around, which is not an easy procedure in and of itself. But here it goes. I'm crossing the river right here. Hey, laundry time. Nothing like a laundromat with a view. There's two things. I don't use soap. I don't use soap out of respect for this environment, for this water. So I don't use any detergent. The other thing, this is kind of a sneaky way for me to take a bath. This is cold water, and I'm originally from Alabama. So I just kind of slowly get wet while I'm doing my laundry. I was sitting out not too far from my camp, reading John Muir, watching the river. I had my own journals with me as well. And I heard an elk call, and I looked down the river, and I had the largest herd I've seen this whole year coming right up the river to me. I got a nice piece of video and still of them. And I go back to considering Mr. Muir and thinking about my own writing. Probably another hour and a half has passed. I get up to go make some tea in my camp, and I look down the river, and coming across the rock bar is a cougar. And it stopped and dropped and was peeking its head over a rock bank. And I started working towards it, shooting still, and as I got closer, video. So this is pretty much how I had myself set up for that Roosevelt elk encounter I just had. I had my dark green on, camo, and then I had this bush behind me. I got a wind blowing, and they came from downriver, so you got a combination of the river noise and a wind blow, and then with this bush moving around, I was able to do very small movements with my hands and the camera with the elk just right out in front of me. I was thinking I was in a position where they were going to pass right in front of me with never even knowing I was here, but they obviously did catch my scent. This place, this national park, this national forest, I fully believe it is worthy of 2 years of dedicated study, pushing hard as best I can with the knowledge and experience I do have and with the limits that I have. I'm not professionally trained as a researcher, but I've got 25 years in these woods now, and I have a passion for this place. And obviously, the longer you go, the more you learn, the more you anticipate. I want to create a study of 2 years in this place that will be a benchmark 2020 to 2022. It'd be a study that can be turned back to and looked at by future generations, 20, 40, 60, 100 years from now. I want to follow in the footsteps of the press expedition, Herb Christie and his work with the Roosevelt elk. It's my turn. I'm asking for partnership, support, whatever way that you can. I hope you catch a bit of the vision of what I want to attempt over this 2 years. I believe with 2 years plus what has already occurred, we presently have over 23,000 pieces, and by the time I walk out of here, it'll probably be more like 24,000 images or video has already been created in 4 months this year out here. Now we are appealing to, this is what we want to do with 2 years. This is what I want to do with 2 years, and I believe we will probably have somewhere between 120 to 150,000 pieces of photography and video, which will build a catalog of the current state of the ecosystem known as the Olympic wilderness. Macro lens, 24, 105, 100, 400, and a doubler. I want to catch the scales of beauty and the details of the life that is here now. Anyone who's serious about and really considers the state of ecosystem Earth understands the challenges laying before us. My goal is to depict in depth the current state of this place and also create a work that inspires and moves others to study in depth their own front yard, neighborhood ecosystems. I'm speaking especially to Seattle. This is our front yard wilderness. We look at this every day. I just want to get it in detail, in depth, for 2 years. 2 full cycles of life, covering the full extent of the place as best one man can in a couple of years with help from others, and leave it for the future to understand why this should be maintained and why we need to make the effort to maintain our planet. Oh, see, I do have something other than camo. Although I'm about to go put my camo shirt back on as soon as I finish this tea.